morning, my name is Kerry Garbutt and I'm an Occupational Therapy Practice Education Coordinator here at JCU in Townsville. Sitting beside me is Joanna Bell, who's the Director of Access Therapy Services, which is a private occupational therapy practice here in Townsville. We're on the project team for our project, which is entitled Implementation of a Service Learning Placement Framework for Occupational Therapy Students in Residential Aged Care Facilities, and we're specifically looking at Townsville. Just some background to the project. In 2011, Townsville Mackay Medicare Local approached OT at JCU to look at the viability of increasing student placements within residential aged care facilities, or RACFs, in Townsville. At this same time, OT at JCU was going through a curriculum refresh process, and we had identified through the environmental scan associated with that there was definitely a lack of OTs working in residential aged care facilities, and with the ageing population that this would be a major area of work for our students in the future. We also identified opportunities within the second year of the course where we could look at other options for student placements. We also noticed a lack of interest by OT students of wanting to work in aged care through their preferences for their placements. We were lucky in 2012 to successfully gain a small Will at JCU grant that allowed us to research and scope out the viability of setting up some placements within the RACFs in association with TMML and private practice. And as a result of that, we received a 2013 QRTN grant to implement the findings of this Will grant, which is this project. Our project aims have been to develop a sustainable placement framework and supervision framework for second year OT students in RACFs in Townsville. We set out to establish a collaborative partnership between JCU, ATS and the RACFs, and we wanted to provide students with a meaningful, integrated, real-world and real-life learning opportunity in real workplaces. We wanted to expand the diversity of OT training to include the health and wellbeing of people in aged care facilities, and to allow students the opportunity to actually work with clients to identify occupational issues and to set occupational goals. We also wanted to promote occupational therapy service to RACFs, as we were very aware that very few facilities employed OTs on staff. The project entailed integrated placements for second year students in the RACFs in each semester. We embedded the placement within 2 occupational therapy subjects and linked the learning outcomes to assessment within those subjects. The placements involved 70 students participating each semester. The students would meet weekly with their volunteer resident at the RACFs to conduct specific tasks relating to occupational interviewing, occupational profiling, establishing occupational goals and determining occupational barriers and enablers. The volunteers were invited to participate through a formal process each semester. So what did we carry out this year? We actually developed a placement and supervision framework that we did implement over 2 semesters. We established placement agreements with 5 RACFs in Townsville, and we successfully worked with subject coordinators at JCU to link the learning outcomes of the placement with the student assessment of those subjects. We developed orientation programs, preparation lectures and resources for the students and for the RACFs, and placement protocols regarding students being in the facilities. We implemented a recruitment process for the residents, and we completed feedback surveys with students, volunteers and resident staff.
So what were the placement outcomes? So we had approximately 70 students and 70 resident volunteers from each facility who participated into the placements each semester. We had 5 facilities in Townsville who participated, and as a team we developed student placement resources, which included preparational resources, including resources that they could carry through the placement. We established collaborative partnerships between the OT discipline at JCU, Access Therapy Services and also the facilities. And we increased an understanding of occupational therapy in aged care for everyone that participated, so the students, the volunteers and also the staff of the facilities. And we were able to enhance the students' professional practice skills whilst working in an aged care facility. So the placement feedback that we have so far gathered is only from semester 1. We developed and received back student feedback survey, a resident feedback survey, and we also received feedback from facility staff through phone interviews, and we will be conducting a student focus group later this month. So some of the feedback that we have collated from semester 1, the student feedback was all positive, and this is just a small snapshot of some of the feedback that we received. So the students reported, 100% of students reported that they had enhanced professional behaviour following this placement, and a high percentage of students also reported that this placement provided them with the opportunity to perform occupational performance analysis, and also that they've developed communication and interviewing skills through this placement. There was also a high percentage of students generally that felt that they developed other skills with regards to providing services to older people in aged care facilities, and 90% of students reported having an enhanced understanding of the role of occupational therapy in aged care facilities, and a high percentage of students also reported enjoying the placement and engaging with residents themselves. Student learning was centred around communication and professional workplace behaviours, and students also reported that the learning involved understanding the issues of residents in aged care facilities. They felt that they developed appropriate client goals, and also it was centred around enabling strategies and skills for residents in the facility. They also felt that they'd learnt about client-centred practice and the skills surrounding that, and also the understanding of residents' physical and cognitive determinants of occupation and the impact of that on their performance within their daily tasks. The resident feedback, again, this is a small snapshot of the feedback that we received. However, it was generally positive. They reported that they enjoyed the experience and they felt that they benefited from the student visits and that they contributed in a positive manner towards student learning. 78% of residents reported that they'd increased their understanding of occupational therapy in aged care facilities and what that actually meant for them. And they also reported that the identification of occupational issues and goals was useful for them. The facility feedback was also extremely positive, and all facilities have committed to continuing their placements in 2014. The facilities valued the student interactions with residents, and they'd also received reports from residents that they'd enjoyed the interactions with students. All facilities felt supported by JCU and ATS, and they did provide feedback around improvements with regards to their workload and also scheduling issues and the timing of student visits for residents. Some of the challenges that we have addressed regarding the selection and recruitment of suitable residents, so looking at our selection criteria, also the scheduling and timetabling of visits for students, and also the natural attrition of residents when residents withdraw from the programme or fall ill and are unable to participate. 3 of the residents reported increased workload, which was certainly not our intention at the beginning of this project, so this is something that's been addressed to decrease or eliminate any workload experienced by facilities. We also had some challenges around inadequate lead-in times for finalising placements, and that was really centred around preparation for the placements, paperwork, criminal history checks for students, and also orientation requirements by the facilities for students prior to them beginning the placements within their facilities. And also there were some challenges around managing some of the student issues that occurred relating to working with real-life clients.
So in summary, where do we go from here? Overall, the placements have, from our point of view, been a positive addition to our placement program. We will now collate the feedback from semester 2 and report on that, and we're very pleased to to know that the placements will continue next year in the RACFs. We've also started a small project this year to look at developing a placement framework for the 3rd and 4th year block placements, also to occur in the RACFs, and to pilot a 4th year block placement in one of these next year. We're hoping that other RACFs will come on board with this placement program in the future, and we will also continue to address the challenges that Jo's already identified. And of course, we'll continue collaborating within the aged care sector within Townsville. Thank you for listening. If you would like to discuss any part of this project further, please call me or email me. My details are below. Thank you very much.